Okay, I'm back at one of the pools that's been censused, and what you're looking at here are the buckets where we keep our guppies after we've caught them. What we do is we separate out the males and females as we collect them in the field and keep them separate when we're censusing them, or when we're taking them back to the laboratory to measure them and mark them. We don't want any hanky-panky here. Everything is, all sirehood is determined in nature. But the other thing that we do is put a leaf in the bucket. The guppies seem to be very sensitive to being on a white background, and so what you'll find here is that if they have a leaf to hide under, that's where they all will stay. Here's a group of female guppies that lived in this pool, and then here are two mature male guppies from this pool. Okay, and so that's what you're looking at, is the number of fish that were more than 14 millimeters long that we caught in a pool of this size. That's actually a pretty small number. The guppies, this is now September 20th, 2009. The guppies were introduced into this site in March 2009, and their populations grew for a while, but then the rainy season begins in June. There have been some very heavy floods that came through here, and many of the original introduced populations have been washed out. We found them further downstream, but we're only working on the population that's contained within our study site. And so right now the population is somewhat smaller than it was when the experiment began. However, it consists of a combination of fish that we placed in here and then ones that were born here and grew up here. What we learned from our other two experimental streams, which are a year older now, is that the next generation, which will be born mostly during the dry season that will begin early in 2010, will result in a much larger population than we have now. In those streams, we began with about 70 fish. By this time of the year, we may have had 150 to 200, but then a year later, those populations grew to being about 700 in the stream that had the intact canopy and 1,500 in the stream that had the thinned canopy.